dio una cátedra de que la realidad objetiva existe y que las leyes y reglas deben basarse en esa realidad objetiva, y él solo dijo que la realidad está en la cabeza de cada uno, como si de la película Matrix se tratase, y lo verás en este video. En él, Michael Knowles conversa con un joven que parece vivir una realidad alterna y que es fan extremo de las películas de ciencia ficción. Mira el video completo y dime qué opinas.
Not only is transgender ideology wrong, but and not only is it harmful to the people who fall into it, but that it's a particularly American problem. It's particularly prominent and growing in America, and so I kind of went through some of the reasons that I think that is. America is the land of opportunity. You know, we're
the land of freedom.
The land of freedoms. And so that's a lovely thing and can be a wonderful thing. But no one can be free from the truth. We should never wish to be free from the truth because it is the truth itself that sets us free. And so this kind of unrestrained, unbridled sense of freedom is leading people to destroy themselves and to destroy their own identity.
What is the problem if males can transition to females and do the same exact thing?
They can't, is the problem. A man can't actually transition to be a woman. So even, for instance, if a man undergoes a surgical procedure to make his...
say he cuts it off, right?
He cuts it off, or actually what usually happens is they like kind of chop it up and invert it so it kind of more resembles... It's not actually the female anatomy. He can't actually like give birth, you know? He's not actually going to have a womb. He's not going to have ovaries. He might be able to look a little bit more like a woman, but he can't actually become a woman.
So say if that's who he truly believes she is, you know what I'm saying? What is the problem with that in your mind?
That he's wrong about that.
Why is that wrong to you, though?
Well, it's not that it's wrong to me. I perceive that it is wrong because I have faculties of reason, and you know, we all have eyes. You can see like a big dude in a dress, you know, is that probably a man, right? So, and also because I have faculties of reason, and I know that a man can't actually become a woman. He won't be able to give birth. His chromosomes won't magically change. He won't have had the development from the moment of his conception, certainly through his childhood and teens, actually to be a woman. So it's not that I have anything against the guy. It's not that I wish him ill. Quite the opposite. I hope that he can flourish, but he's not going to flourish by pretending to be something other than what he is.
So, do you necessarily have a problem with a man identifying as a woman, as of like a man truly believing he is a woman?
Well, both would be wrong and unfortunate, right? But in the case of public life, you know, if a guy has some crazy idea in his head, but it doesn't affect other people, then, you know, I guess he can keep that idea in his head and it's not much skin off my nose. But the moment that he does this in public, it does start to affect other people. So if the man, for instance, says that he's a woman and now he wants to go into the women's bathroom, that is infringing on the legitimate rights of women to have their own bathroom that men can't go into.
So then I guess I ask, my follow-up is, is there a problem with gender-neutral bathrooms? Or, like, what's the feeling on this?
Call me old-fashioned. I don't like to use the bathroom with a lot of women around me. Call me a fuddy-duddy. But even beyond my preferences, there are a lot of women who do not want to use the bathroom or undress in a changing room around men.
Say I was in there as a straight white male, right?
Yeah.
Granted, I am an ally, I am whatever. I don't think a lot of my friends would be comfortable with me being in the bathroom with them, right?
Right, exactly.
But if someone truly, like, gets it inverted, whatever, you know, cancel me if I said it wrong. But if they do that, what is the problem with them going into a female bathroom if they look like a female?
Well, they're not actually women. And so they're still physically much stronger than women. They still have the same kinds of drives that men have that women don't exactly have. There's no rule that says that they have to, you know, chop it off or invert it. So actually, a lot of the trans-identifying men who say that they're women, they still have all the appendages, you know, and they're practically still men because they are still men. And so the question then is, what who has a more legitimate claim to a right? The man who's pretending to be a woman, which he actually is not, or the woman who wants to just be safe and have a little privacy in her own bathroom that is intended only for women, or in a changing room, for instance?
No, I get that, because I went through like swim team, I went through hockey locker rooms, like I've been through all. But if a man truly believes like he is transgender, I don't, I guess, see a problem.
But what if the woman doesn't truly believe that he's a woman because he's not a woman? Doesn't the woman have some right to reality?
I mean, I guess I couldn't say reality, because what is reality? It's what we perceive, is it not?
Well, some people incorrectly perceive reality, but you're right that it is a thing that we perceive that is outside of us.
It's an individual thought process.
No, well, the perception would be individual, but the reality would not. So reality
that would be an objective.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know. To be honest, I feel like I should support, as a Jewish person, right, with all this stuff going on with Palestine and Israel, like, I'm in favor of human rights. And if someone wants to identify as something that they biologically should not be, I don't have a problem with it, right?
Right, but what about the woman who might?
Well, I can't really speak on that, because, like, I'm not a woman. I don't identify as a woman.
Since we grant that there is such a thing as reality, which is objective, and that we perceive it, and that's individual, and some of us can perceive things a little differently, and sometimes things, go a little funny with our perception. But if we grant that the reality still exists, then that is going to, either the reality is going to be the basis of our lawmaking and the rules that govern society, or it's just kind of a battle of preferences, right? And so if we agree that there is such a thing as this objective reality, and if we agree that, the woman is a woman and the man, he might perceive himself to be a woman, but, he is a man, don't you think we ought to give some care and consideration to the views of the woman, which happen to be in line with reality?
Las leyes y reglas de un país deberían estar basadas en principios y hechos objetivos, en lugar de opiniones subjetivas o creencias arbitrarias. Esto significa que las leyes deben reflejar la realidad de manera precisa y justa. Cuando las leyes reflejan la realidad de manera precisa y justa, aumenta la confianza de la ciudadanía en el sistema legal y en las instituciones gubernamentales. La confianza en el sistema legal es fundamental para mantener la cohesión social y el respeto por el Estado de Derecho. Las leyes deben buscar promover la verdad objetiva en la medida en que protegen los derechos fundamentales de las personas y promueven la justicia. Esto implica que las leyes deben estar diseñadas para garantizar que las personas sean tratadas de manera equitativa y que se haga justicia en caso de violación de derechos o delitos. Las leyes basadas en hechos objetivos facilitan la resolución eficiente de conflictos al proporcionar un marco claro para la mediación y el arbitraje. Cuando las leyes son ambiguas o están basadas en opiniones subjetivas, puede ser más difícil resolver disputas de manera justa y eficaz. La interpretación y aplicación de las leyes deben ser imparciales y basadas en evidencia objetiva. Los jueces y funcionarios encargados de hacer cumplir la ley deben tomar decisiones basadas en los hechos y en la ley, sin verse influenciados por prejuicios personales o, en este caso, agendas políticas. A medida que nuestra comprensión de la verdad objetiva evoluciona con el tiempo, las leyes y reglas también deben ser flexibles y capaces de adaptarse a nuevos conocimientos acontecimientos y circunstancias cambiantes. Esto puede implicar la necesidad de revisar y reformar las leyes existentes para garantizar que sigan siendo coherentes con la verdad objetiva. Las leyes basadas en la realidad y en principios objetivos fomentan el desarrollo real y el progreso social real, al proporcionar un entorno legal que favorece la innovación, la inversión y el crecimiento económico. Cuando las leyes son inconsistentes o están basadas en creencias arbitrarias, pueden obstaculizar el desarrollo y la prosperidad de una sociedad. ¿Y tú qué opinas? Déjamelo saber en los comentarios. Y aquí culmina este video. Si te gustó, dale like, comenta el video y compártelo. Y si te gusta este tipo de contenido, suscríbete a nuestro canal. Gracias, hasta luego.